Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so later on today I'm gonna post a full 7.22 exploration guide, but I wanted to pay a bit of extra attention to this path in particular because many people have been messaging me asking me for help specifically on this lane and complaining that I do not have the exact counters. Now, due to micro reflect and particle protector, basically people think that you can't use regular champions and you need to directly counter these nodes using champions like Quake, Archangel, Namor perhaps, which work. Omega Red also works very well. And basically champions that can ignore this passive damage given back to them like Gambit and I believe Strife as well. However, that is not exactly what you're meant to do. Yes, you can bring in Quake. Yes, you can bring in Namor, Deadpool, Hell's Kitchen, and directly counter these nodes. However, in reality, this path is doable with any skill and mutant champions, which is exactly what I'm going to showcase. And the secret lies in this special new node where every time you dex opponent's attack, basically every time you trigger dex, you place 12-second disorient on them. If you have class advantage, you also pause these disorients as long as you're striking them, which allows you to stack several of them. The entire idea of this path is that you, let's say, trigger dex around 3 times, which would give you 95% ability accuracy reduction for the opponents, and that alone will be enough to work around particle protector and micro reflect. So just to demonstrate that point, I kind of brought in a team of random mutants and skill champions, because ideally you do want to have class advantage in whichever fight you are entering. And then past that point, everything kind of works pretty much perfectly. For whatever reason, I was actually having a bit of trouble triggering dexterity against Invisible Woman. But here you can see I dex, we place Disorient on her. The mission is to get to about 3 of these Disorient debuffs, and then we can ignore the particle protector nodes. So first, obviously, I do need to cut through the shield of Invisible Woman. She goes invisible. This fight is not maybe the most straightforward one because you also have to work around the invisibility. But if you use any skill champion that inflicts bleed, let's say, you're definitely going to have easier time. So at this point, I have 2 disorients, which is not quite good enough, but it's still kind of putting in work. So this isn't going to be the prettiest fight. I quite honestly just randomly brought in champions without much thinking about it, and then just went and cleared it. This is the first and only take I did for this run, so there will be some errors in the gameplay for sure. You can see that I'm actually having a bit of trouble triggering that dexterity here with Black Widow Deadly Origins for whatever reason, but we're going to have some more smooth fights. But the idea is that, yeah, thanks to nodes, you actually get to deal some extra damage as well, but you can basically just use just about anyone. I'm going to be using Gold Pool in some of the fights Small Man. In short, champions who have no abilities to bypass that micro reflect or particle protector by themselves, but they will, thanks to this node that lets us stack disorient debuffs on the opponent. So first fight here is almost over. We're gonna quickly move on to the second one. I'm gonna bring in Domino against Winter Soldier. This one's gonna be very smooth actually. So again, every time we trigger Dex, he gets disorient. Once he has 3 disorients, he pretty much cannot force us to glance, and anything above 3 is basically guaranteed 0 ability accuracy for the guys, so you're not gonna have anything to worry about. So again, I have like 2 disorients, 3 disorients here, 4, why not? Let's await, we have 6 of them, and we can see that you can just go in. Also, thanks to that the weak link node, you're doing quite a lot of extra damage, which is always kind of convenient. Dropping level 2, unfortunately, no big crits here, but still, fight is progressing in a fairly rapid and solid pace. Not much to complain about, especially Domino against skill champions, obviously, is extremely handy and convenient. And yeah, we can see that we're not glancing at all whatsoever. So that is kind of like the key here. You do not necessarily need to counter Micro Reflect or what was the other name? Micro Reflect and Particle Protector, but you just need to play within confines of the nodes given to you, and everything's going to work out fine. So next fight is going to be Mallman against Thing. Why not? Again, Disorient's active. Disorients also are kind of like slowing down Thing's ability to gain rock stacks. because of course they do, they reduce ability accuracy. And again, you just need to make sure that you have some of these things active. We have 3 disorients, at this point 4, perfect. Can go in, hit him a couple of times, and yeah, enter my frenzy, drop a level 2, why not? Thanks to disorients, protection will not trigger, even if it otherwise would, and the fight can be done with pretty much any champions. Fairly straightforward. Now, I'm not going to stretch this video out too much, but the main point is I wanted to make a separate video for this lane because I do not want to spend too much time explaining this node and showcasing this node when I'm going to be doing exploration guide. And I thought that this is not the trickiest thing in the world, but I did think that this might deserve a specific explanation here where, yeah, you do not necessarily need to have that max sig Namor or Quake or Archangel or whatever in order to play around these nodes. You just need to capitalize on these disorient debuffs having placed on opponents, and we can see that, yeah, gold pool works just like a treat. Why not? Absolutely no issues here, no glancing. I have my damage output increased thanks to the weak link node. We see that I do like 2400 extra additional damage there per hit. And yeah, so the fights are actually going fairly rapid as well. And what after Hawkeye, we have Human Torch. Why not? This is actually going to be quite horrible fight because I mess up a few times. So we're just going to pretend it was extremely smooth. But against Human Torch, if you can evade level 1s, you can actually stack a ton of disorient debuffs on him. And then the final fight is Punisher, where once again the same principles apply. Just make sure that you trigger Dex plenty of times, and then stay aggressive, and then Dex their special attacks, and you do not have to worry about glancing. So you do not have to specifically counter any of the fights here. And yeah, that is about it. That was the main purpose of today's video. As I said, I'm trying to keep it relatively brief. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. Later today, I will be uploading full-on 7.22 exploration guide, where I will be referencing this video, so people have a bit more gameplay example how to exactly work around this lane when I'm going to be talking about it there. And all in all, I do sincerely hope that this video perhaps was helpful to you guys. Now that maybe you understand the node and node combination slightly better, you will be able to capitalize on it more. But that is pretty much it for today. As I said, keep your eyes open for 7.22 and possibly 7.23 guides coming today. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna be done here for now, and catch you guys soon. See ya. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about